Hello everyone, I'm Andy and welcome to Ghost Stories. Now tonight we're going to take a look at a few locations, all centred around the same street, which is Stonegate in York. One of Europe's oldest streets, Stonegate. A 2,000-year-old street which has witnessed every part of York's turbulent history. Packed with many buildings on either side, each of them having a story to tell. The Street of Stonegate is believed to be the haunting grounds of hundreds of souls and is home to the oldest inn in York. This Grade 2 listed building is said to date back to the year 1644 and claims to be the oldest and best loved pubs in York. Ye Olde Starre Inn was first licensed in 1644, which was the year of the Siege of York, and has the longest running licence of any other pubs in York. Proudly displayed on the historical streets of Stonegate is the inn's sign, stretching across and over Stonegate ever since 1733, directing the passing public through the dark and eerie Snickerway leading into the Olde Starre Inn. Looking up from the courtyard, you catch a glimpse of the upper part of York Minster, its tolling bells echoing within the courtyard walls throughout the centuries. During the 1640s, Roundheads invaded the inn and went on to make use of its 10th century cellar by turning it into a hospital and mortuary during the English Civil War. In 1622, a Thomas Wyville bought this building for £250, and 2 centuries later it was sold again at the bargain price of £850. Ye Olde Starre Inn was extended and remodernised around 30 years ago, but its well remains, this well being the only source of fresh water for York's local community. Remaining here also are said to be the wandering souls from a time gone by, intent on making themselves known to visitors who pass through the doors of the Olde Starre Inn. So there's the history to the Olde Starre Inn. So what about the hauntings? When darkness falls, unexplainable strange noises are often heard here, and have on a number of occasions kept the landlord awake during the night time. Ghostly activity has been reported within these walls for decades, with moving chairs and slamming doors, and lights turning themselves on and off on their own accord. Blood-curdling screams echo throughout the building, coming from the inn's 10th century cellar, believed to be the crying of the injured and dying soldiers who were treated here during the English Civil War. The sighting of what has been described as a twisted old woman clambering up the staircase has been seen here, but only by young children. A number of children have pointed out the old woman. When the adults take a look for themselves, nothing is visible apart from an old, empty staircase. Now, over the past few years, I've realised it's quite common for children, younger adults, to witness paranormal activity and witness ghost sightings rather than adults witnessing them. And also, makes you wonder about animals as well. Well, this next story, dogs tend to witness paranormal activity rather than people. Centuries ago, an old European custom was to bury the dead and dried up body of a cat within the walls of a new building.
It was believed that the cats had a sixth sense and could ward off any evil spirits from ever entering, along with protecting the building from fire. In most cases, the cats were already dead, but it is believed that here at the old Starre Inn, there were 2 cats entombed in the walls, alive. Dogs visiting here have been said to growl and snarl within the area around the entombed cats. And one day, a dog literally threw itself towards the wall and knocked itself unconscious. Eerie scratching sounds coming from within the walls, along with visitors bending down to stroke cats, only to realise there is nothing there, and the cats have vanished into thin air. During World War I, a soldier who was about to be sent to the trenches sent a letter to his lover. In the note, he promised to meet her at the old Starre Inn on the first night of his return home. She sat and waited, but the soldier never arrived. She later died of a broken heart. To this day, the wandering souls of the 2 lovers are believed to have been witnessed separately roaming around the bar in search of each other.
Well, now we're going to take a look up the street at number 41 Stonegate, which is an antique shop haunted by the spirit of a young girl.
Further up this street is number 41 Stonegate. Now an antique store, this tall and narrow building is home to the spirit of a young 6-year-old Victorian girl who fell over the top of the staircase to her death. Sightings of the Victorian girl are quite regular. One of her favourite areas being on top of the shop counter, comfortably sitting down and minding her own business. The sounds of the girl's footsteps climbing up the staircase is another phenomena often reported here.
Now, I've heard quite a lot about properties being renovated, people moving in and out of properties, which seem to stir up paranormal activity. Well, at this next location, which happened in 1999, where somebody was renovating, and it seems to stir up the spirits, and since then it seems to have been quite a hotbed of activity.
Notorious for being one of Stonegate's most oldest and haunted buildings is number 35. This medieval building was built in 1482, but records show that for over 1,000 years a building has stood on this site, overlooking Stonegate. Believed to be the home of the spirit of a tall man, dressed in black and wearing a hat. It's said to reside in the wooden panelled room amongst the wood carvings of demons. The spirit man is locally named Tall Tom. A balding monk has been spotted in one of the rooms upstairs, along with a lady dressed in Georgian clothing, who is believed to be responsible for touching and grabbing hold of people who have visited here.
Now, number 35 Stonegate was apparently so active that the owner hired it out to paranormal ghost hunters, and there was quite a lot of unusual encounters.
Poltergeist activity is a regular occurrence at number 35 Stonegate, with doors slamming, creaking floorboards, along with scratching sounds coming from the attic room. Multiple unexplainable encounters have been witnessed here, and have become more noticeable when in 1999, astrologer Jonathan Kaner began renovating this building. Jonathan said in an interview that he was aware of the ghosts here, but since his renovation work, there had been a huge increase of ghostly activity, explaining that his property was now like Piccadilly Circus.
Well, I hope you enjoyed those stories coming from the 2,000-year-old Stonegate. We'll be putting more together in the near future. In the meantime, stay safe.